Energy never lies, homie. You can dress it up, hide it behind filters, quotes, or fancy words, but what you carry inside, what you've been through, what you've done, always speaks before you even open your mouth. Energy got a language of its own. It moves before your lips do, before your story even starts. When a woman has been connected to too many people, too many energies, it leaves traces. You can feel it even if you can't explain it. You can't fake peace. You can't fake purity of spirit. The vibe tells the truth long before the mouth does. See, every bond leaves something behind. Every exchange, every touch, every night where souls connect without meaning, it takes something and leaves something. That's the real currency of this world, energy. You can't spend it twice. You can't share it endlessly without paying the price. When you move through people with no purpose, no alignment, no soul tie that builds, you spread yourself thin. You start feeling drained, disconnected, lost in noise, and that's why some people walk around heavy and don't even know why. They've been carrying energies that ain't theirs. A woman's energy is sacred, is life-giving, is nurturing. When she gives it without boundaries, it's like pouring water into cracked soil. It don't grow nothing. It just disappears. That's why you can meet a woman who looks good on the outside, but feels empty when you talk to her. It's not about judging her. It's about understanding the cost of not valuing what's inside. The more she gives her body without protecting her spirit, the more her energy fragments. She starts losing that natural glow, that quiet confidence that comes from self-worth. Energy tells you if somebody's been intentional or careless. You can see it in the eyes. You can feel it in the presence. When someone has shared themselves too freely, there's no mystery left, no depth. It's like a song that's been played too many times. It still sounds good, but the magic's gone. And that's not hate, that's just truth. When you understand energy, you stop judging people by what they say and start feeling who they are. The universe runs off frequency, not appearance. When your frequency gets mixed up with too many others, you lose your clarity. That's why some people can't find peace no matter what they do. They tied their spirit to too many stories, too many wounds that weren't theirs to carry. You start picking up habits, insecurities, fears that don't even belong to you. That's what happens when you confuse physical closeness with spiritual connection. But here's the flip side. Energy can also be clean, healed, and restored. When a woman starts understanding her worth, when she starts saying no to what drains her and yes to what aligns with her, her glow comes back. Her silence becomes powerful again. Her aura gets loud in the best way. That's the beauty of energy. It don't lie, but it can evolve. You can change your frequency once you recognize what you've been giving away and start taking it back. People forget that presence is the loudest statement you can make. You don't gotta speak for your energy to be felt. When you walk in truth, when you respect yourself, your vibe demands respect before you even ask for it. That's why self-awareness is the real glow up. When you move in peace, you attract peace. When you move in chaos, you attract more of the same. So when I say energy never lies, it ain't a diss, it's a reminder. Protect what's sacred. Don't let the world convince you that giving yourself away equals love. Real love values energy, not access. Real love builds it on drain. And if you've been through things, don't run from that truth. Heal from it. Take time to understand what pieces of you got left behind in the wrong places and go get them back. At the end of the day, you can fool the eyes, but not the soul. You can fake smiles, but not peace. Energy will always speak for you louder than your words ever could. So guard your frequency like it's gold, because it is. The people who deserve you will feel it, and the ones who don't will fade out naturally. Keep your energy clean, keep your spirit aligned, and let your truth shine without apology. Femininity is power, but somewhere along the line, that truth got twisted. See, real femininity ain't about how loud you are, how much attention you pull, or how cold you can act to a man. It's a quiet strength, a calm confidence that don't need validation to feel valuable. But when a woman gives herself away too freely, when she moves through life thinking her worth comes from how many people desire her, she starts losing that essence bit by bit. It's not something you see right away. It happens slow, like a light dimming over time. The loss of femininity don't mean she stops being beautiful. It means she starts forgetting what makes her beauty sacred. She trades softness for survival. She learns to move like a man because the world showed her that being soft got her hurt. But in trying to protect herself, she loses that divine energy that made her magnetic in the first place. Femininity ain't weakness, it's peace, it's grace, it's the ability to influence without force. But when you've been broken, lied to, and played, it's easy to start thinking peace is a trap. A woman that's been through too much, that's given her heart and body to too many who didn't deserve it, starts building walls where her warmth used to be. She stops trusting her intuition. She starts moving like everything's a game. And that's when the loss of femininity really shows. It's in the way she talks, in the way she moves, in the way her eyes stop shining the same. You can feel when a woman has lost touch with that soft part of herself. She becomes defensive, loud, always needing to prove something. That's not power, that's pain in disguise. The real tragedy is that the world celebrates that version of her. They call it independent, bossed up, unbothered. But deep down, this emptiness masks as strength. She's tired of being hurt, but she's also tired of pretending she don't care. That's the quiet battle no one talks about. When a woman loses her femininity, she loses her balance. Her spirit gets heavy because she's trying to carry the role of both the nurturer and the protector. And that's not how energy is meant to flow. See, real femininity isn't about submission to a man. It's about submission to peace. It's about knowing your value so deeply that you don't have to chase what's meant to come to you. It's about being rooted in grace, not ego. But when a woman's been through cycles of pain, disrespect, and temporary love, she starts associating softness with weakness. She stops creating, stops feeling, stops dreaming the same way. The glow that used to come from within now gets replaced by makeup, filters, and attention that don't feed her soul. The loss of femininity is really the loss of trust in herself and love. In love, it's when she stops believing she can be safe in her own softness. That's why healing is so important. Because healing brings back the softness, the sensitivity, the intuition. You can't fake that energy. When a woman reconnects with herself, when she forgives herself for the things she accepted, her whole aura changes. She starts moving slower, speaking softer, thinking clearer. Her presence starts commanding respect without her having to demand it. But to get there, she has to be real with herself. She has to admit that trying to be one of the guys or too strong to feel was never peace, it was protection. There's a difference. Strength without softness becomes hardness, and hardness kills connection. It keeps love away. When a woman learns that her softness is her power, everything shifts. She don't need to argue, she don't need to chase. She just is, and that's enough. So when you see a woman that's lost her femininity, don't judge her. Understand that somewhere along the road, life taught her she had to become cold to survive. What she really needs is not another man to use her energy, but a space to heal her energy. She needs to remember that the same softness that got her hurt is also the softness that can make her unstoppable. Femininity is divine. It's the rhythm of life itself. When a woman honors that energy again, when she protects it, values it, and walks in it, the whole world feels it. Her peace becomes louder than her pain. Her energy becomes untouchable. That's when she's truly powerful, not when she acts hard, but when she returns to a natural state of grace. Because at the end of the day, real power ain't loud. Real power moves in silence, and that's the kind of power only a healed woman can hold. Emotional detachment hits different when you've been through too much. It's not that you don't care anymore. It's that caring started to feel like a risk you couldn't afford. You gave pieces of yourself away so many times, and now you hold back without even realizing it. You used to love with an open heart, but every time you did, someone took that love and treated it like it was replaceable. After a while, that pain turns into numbness. You start protecting yourself by not feeling too deep, not getting too close, not believing too fast. You start calling it peace, but really it's just distance dressed up as control. See, emotional detachment don't just come from heartbreak, it comes from disappointment. From constantly showing up for people who never showed up back, from being loyal in a world that treats loyalty like a weakness. The kind of pain hardens you in ways you don't notice. You stop arguing, you stop explaining, you stop hoping people understand your heart. You just let go. And that's dangerous because that's when you stop being yourself. You stop trusting your emotions when they used to be your superpower. For a woman, that detachment shows up in silence, in the way she don't chase no more. In the way she looks at someone trying to get close, and her eyes say, I've seen this before. She don't get excited easily because excitement always came with a price. Every I love you turned into a lesson. Every promise turned into an excuse. So now she stays guarded, smiles but don't feel it, laughs but don't believe it. It's not that she's cold, it's that she's tired. Emotional detachment looks like peace from the outside, but on the inside is loneliness wearing a strong face. You start thinking you're in control because nothing affects you anymore, but really you just stopped allowing yourself to experience life fully. You confuse numbness with strength, but strength ain't about not feeling. It's about feeling and still standing. The real power is being able to love again after being broken, not shutting your heart down completely. But detachment creeps in quietly. It starts small. You stop replying fast. You stop opening up. You start saying it is what it is to things that used to move you. And after a while, that becomes your reality. You become so used to not needing anyone that you forget what it feels like to be truly connected. You start building a life around self-preservation instead of purpose. That's not freedom. That's survival. The world tells you not to care. Social media glorifies, don't catch feelings, move on fast, protect your energy. But the truth is, emotional detachment ain't healing. It's a symptom of unhealed pain. It's what happens when love turns into a lesson too many times. And the more you detach, the more you lose the ability to bond. You stop believing in real connection. You stop letting people see your truth. You become what hurt you, cold, distant, unreachable. But even then, deep down, your soul still craves something real. You still want to be seen, felt understood. You still want someone to look past your defenses and see the person behind the mask. The problem is, when you detach for too long, you start rejecting the very thing you've been praying for. You push away the good because it feels unfamiliar. You think peace is danger because chaos became your normal. That's what emotional detachment does. It rewires your spirit.
To come back from that, you got to face yourself. You got to sit with the pain you've been avoiding, feel it, process it, release it. Don't let that coldness become your identity. Healing don't mean you let everyone back in. It means you learn to open your heart again without losing your mind. You learn to feel again without letting it break you. That's where real power comes from.
Because when you numb yourself to pain, you also numb yourself to joy. You can't block one without blocking the other. Life's beauty lives in feeling it all, the highs, the lows, the lessons, the love. Emotional detachment might keep you safe, but it won't keep you fulfilled. There's no growth in staying guarded. Real peace comes when you can be open and still choose wisely, when you can love without losing yourself. At the end of the day, being cold don't protect you. It just isolates you. You were meant to connect, to feel, to love deeply. Don't let pain convince you that detachment is strength. Real strength is when you've been hurt and still got the courage to care again. When you can look at your past, forgive it, and say, that hurt me, but it didn't change me. That's when you take your power back. In this world right now, too many people chasing eyes instead of honor. Everybody wants to be seen, but nobody wants to be respected. It's like we traded value for visibility. Attention became the new currency, and people spending it without realizing it don't hold no real weight. You can get 1,000,000 likes and still not get love. You can be seen by everybody and still not be valued by one real soul. That's the difference between attention and respect. One fades when the noise dies, the other lives on when nobody's watching. When a woman starts chasing attention, it's usually because somewhere along the line, she stopped feeling valued. Maybe she gave her best to the wrong ones, and maybe she tried to build love on a shaky foundation. After enough disappointment, validation starts to look like love. The compliments, the stares, the DMs, they give a temporary high, but it's just noise. It fills the silence, not the soul. And over time, that becomes a trap. She starts needing the eyes on her to feel like she matters. Not real worth don't come from being watched. It comes from being respected. Respect is different. It's built off presence, not performance. You don't gotta show skin or sell an image for it. You earn it by how you carry yourself, how you move when no one's looking, how you stay solid in a world full of imitation. Respect, don't chase it, attracts. It's silent but powerful. But attention is loud and short-lived. It makes you think you're winning when really it's just feeding an empty space inside that never stays full. The problem is this generation been taught that attention equals success. Flash something, say something wild, post something crazy, and you trending, but the respect gone. And when the noise stops, you left with yourself. You can't scroll away from that silence. That's when the truth hits. You've been performing for people who don't even care about your peace. They just watching, waiting for the next moment to judge, to forget, to move on. A woman that values attention more than respect starts losing her natural power, because real feminine power don't need a crowd. It commands presence without effort. It's in the way she carries herself, in the energy she brings into a room. When she moves for attention, she gives her power away. She becomes what people expect instead of who she really is. And the sad part, the same people she's trying to impress will never truly respect her. They'll use the image but never value the soul. Attention got a loud echo, but no foundation. It gives you a rush, then leaves you empty. Respect is slower. It builds in silence. You don't even notice it at first, but it lasts. You can't buy it. You can't fake it. And once you have it, no one can take it. That's what makes it real. But to get it, you got to stand for something. You got to move different. You got to choose peace over noise, truth over trends, value over vanity. There's a moment when every person has to decide, do I want to be watched or do I want to be remembered? Because being watched just means you exist in someone's timeline. Being remembered means you impacted somebody's life. And that's what respect does. It leaves a mark that don't fade. See, people who chase attention always end up exhausted. It's a cycle that never stops. You keep trying to outdo your last move, show more, say more, do more, just to keep the eyes on you. But peace don't live in performance. It lives in purpose. When you start living for respect, you don't need to prove nothing. Your energy speaks before your words do. You walk different, talk different, move different. You stop needing validation because you know your value. At some point, you got to ask yourself what you really want to be known for, how you look, or remember for who you are. Attention fades fast. Respect lasts forever. Attention will have you loud on the internet, but empty in your soul. Respect will have you quiet in public, but at peace in private. So stop trading your worth for claps. Stop giving the world pieces of you just to feel seen. You ain't gotta scream to be valuable. You ain't gotta please nobody to feel enough. The loudest statement you'll ever make is how you carry yourself when nobody's giving you attention. Move with grace, protect your energy, and let your respect speak louder than the noise. Because when the lights cut off and the hype dies down, all that's left is who you really are, and that's what people will remember. Healing over judging, that's a real conversation most people don't want to have. We live in a world where everybody quick to point fingers but slow to look in the mirror. It's easier to judge somebody else's story than to face your own pain. But the truth is, judgment never fixes nobody. It only separates people who are already broken. Healing, that's the real work. That's what changes energy, changes mindset, changes life. You can't grow from hate, only from understanding. When you see someone moving in ways you don't agree with, it's easy to label them. She didn't see that, but you don't know what they've been through. You don't know the pain behind their choices, the scars they hide when the lights go off. Everybody fighting something you can't see. And most of the time, people don't need your judgment. They need your compassion. Because truth be told, every mistake comes from some kind of hurt. We all been there doing things out of pain, out of confusion, out of survival. But healing means you stop throwing stones and start extending grace. See, judging someone keeps you stuck on the surface. Healing lets you see the root. And once you start healing, you stop needing to make other people feel small just to feel strong. You start realizing that the same pain you criticize in somebody else lives somewhere inside you too. It just wears a different face. When you heal, you stop competing and start understanding. You start seeing people through their pain, not their behavior. And that's where growth really begins. When a woman been through a lot, people quick to talk about what she did wrong. They point out her mistakes, her choices, her past, but they never ask what broke her in the first place. They never ask who failed her, what she lost, what she learned. That's why healing over judging matters, because judgment keeps wounds open, but healing closes them. You can't shame somebody into becoming better. You gotta love them through it, even if it's from a distance. The world got this bad habit of talking down on the same people it once cheered for. When someone falls, everybody got an opinion, but nobody wanna help them get back up. Healing over judging means breaking that cycle. It means understanding that we all make choices from the level of awareness we got at the time. Once you know better, you move better. But to get there, somebody got to believe in your growth more than your past. Healing don't mean ignoring accountability. It means approaching it with empathy. You can still tell the truth, but do it with love. You can still correct someone, but do it from a place that wants to see them rise, not crumble. That's what real ones do. Real ones guide, not gossip. They lift, not laugh. They understand that pain don't make you dirty. It makes you human. It's easy to sit back and judge someone else's path when you don't know the weight they're carrying. It's easy to act perfect when your scar is just hidden better. But healing asks for honesty. It asks for you to admit where you still hurt, where you still bitter, where you still lost. You can't preach peace while holding grudges. You can't talk about growth while tearing people down. Healing starts when you stop pointing and start reflecting. And when you start healing for real, your energy changes. You stop needing to judge because you understand the cost of pain. You start moving different, talking different, showing up different. You start giving people the space to be human, to learn, to evolve. That's power, not in the loudness, but in the grace. Because grace is what keeps you humble. It's what reminds you that you ain't perfect either. And that's okay. Everybody got a story that explains why they're the way they are. Some just hide it better. So instead of saying, look at her, start saying, I hope she finds peace. Instead of saying, he changed, say, he grew. That small shift in energy, that's healing over judging. That's choosing to be light in a world that feeds off negativity. At the end of the day, we all trying to make it through this life without letting it harden us too much. Healing keeps your spirit soft. Judgment makes it cold. And the world don't need no more cold hearts. It needs people who understand. It needs people who can look at brokenness and still see beauty. So stop using your eyes to criticize. Use your heart to empathize. Because when you choose healing over judging, you're not just freeing them, you're freeing yourself too.